Palmerston North, commonly referred to by locals as Palmerston, or colloquially Palmy, is the main city of the Manawatu-Wanganui region of the North Island of New Zealand. The city is inland, located in the eastern Manawatu Plains, near the north bank of the Manawatu River. The city is 35 km from the river's mouth and 12 km from the end of the Manawatu Gorge. It is about 140 km north of the capital, Wellington. The city covers an area of 325.94 square kilometers. The official limits of the city take in rural areas to the south, northeast, northwest and west of the main urban area, extending to the Tararua Ranges. Including the town of Ashurst at the mouth of the Manawatu Gorge, the villages of Bunnythorpe and Longburn in the north and west respectively. Included in the city limits are fertile agricultural areas. Palmerston North is the country's 7th largest city and 8th largest urban area, with an urban population of 82,400. The city's location was once little more than a clearing in a forest and occupied by small communities of indigenous Māori, who called it Papaioea, believed to mean, "how beautiful it is." In the mid-19th century, it was discovered and settled by Europeans. On foundation, the settlement was bestowed the name Palmerston, in honor of Viscount Palmerston, a former Prime Minister of Great Britain. The suffix North was added in 1871 by the Post Office to distinguish the settlement from Palmerston in the South Island. The Māori transliteration of Palmerston North is Pamutana. However, Te Papaioea is the preferred Māori name. Physical environment. Palmerston North has a land area of 325.94 square kilometers. Of this, the area in public reserves is 5.54 square kilometers. Although surrounded by the Wellington and Tararua Range in the east and south respectively, the city is predominantly flat. The occasional rise in elevation occurs in the northeast and on the south side of the river. The typical urban aerial elevation ranges between 20–40 meters. The highest point is 760 meters above sea level. This is in the Tararua Ranges, southeast of Scotts Road. The lowest point is 10 meters above sea level. This is at the river bank near Te Puna Road. Incidentally, both these locations are in the southwest of the city, by Wellington. The length of the Manawatu River within the city boundary is 29.9 kilometers and its tributary at Ashurst, the Pamutana, is 2.6 kilometers. Climate. Palmerston North's climate is temperate with maximum daytime temperatures averaging 22 degrees Celsius in summer and 12 degrees Celsius in winter. On average temperatures rise above 25 degrees Celsius on 20 days of the year. Annual rainfall is approximately 960 mm with rain occurring approximately 5% of the time. There are on average 200 rain-free days each year. In the ranges that flank the city there is often sustained wind, especially in spring. Much of this land is within the city boundaries and these ranges have the reputation of providing the most consistent wind in the country. Close to the city is the largest electricity-generating wind farm in the southern hemisphere, with 158 turbines in the Tararua and Wellington ranges providing power for approximately 30,000 homes. Demographics. At the 2006 census, Palmerston North had a population of 75,543, an increase of 3,507 people since the 2001 census. There were 27,849 occupied dwellings, 1,662 unoccupied dwellings, and 189 dwellings under construction. In the last census in 2013 the population had risen to 80,079. Palmerston North's ethnicity was made up of 71.4% European, 15.4% Māori, 7.4% Asian, 3.7% Pacific Islanders, 1.1% Middle Eastern Latin American African, 12.5% New Zealanders, and 0.05% other. Of the population, 36,345 were male and 39,192 female. The city had a median age of 32.4 years, 2.5 years below the national median age of 35.9 years. People aged 65 years and over made up 11.6% of the population, compared to 12.3% nationally, and people under 15 years made up 20.3% of the population, compared to 21.5% nationally. Due to Palmerston North being a university city, approximately 36% of the population is aged between 15.0 and 24.9 years. The average annual income of all people 15 years and over was $23,100, compared with $24,400 nationally. Of those, 44.9% earned under $20,000, compared with 43.2% nationally, while 15.4% earned over $50,000, compared to 18.0% nationally. Palmerston North City had an unemployment rate of 5.3% of people 15 years and over, compared to 5.1% nationally. Economy: although Palmerston North has 1.9% of the population of New Zealand, 2.5% of the nation's employees work in the city. The important sectors are tertiary education, research and central government. 3. The largest industry in terms of employees is the health and community services industry, which employs 14.9% of employees in the city. The retail trade industry employs 13.3% of employees in the city. This reflects the city's role as an important retail service centre in the lower North Island. The tertiary education sector provides $500 million New Zealand dollars a year to the local economy. 4. And the education sector accounted for 11.3% of the Palmerston North workforce in February 2006. Palmerston North has economic strengths in research, especially in the bioindustry, defense, distribution and smart business sectors. The city is home to more than 70 major educational and research institutions, including New Zealand's fastest expanding university, Massey University. The Massey University Sport and Recreation Institute at the Massey University campus, Turitea. Universal College of Learning and Linton Army Camp. Business innovation: Palmerston North has a long history of innovation in the business sector. A number of firms founded in or near the city have become nationally or internationally renowned, one of the largest and well-known, GSK. Glaxo had its beginnings in Bunnythorpe, now a part of Palmerston North. Companies with national head offices based in Palmerston North: Toyota New Zealand, Higgins Group, FMG Insurance, New Zealand Pharmaceuticals Limited, Steelfort Engineering Limited, Hino Distributors Limited, Hunting and Fishing New Zealand, CB Norwood Distributors Limited, Sime Darby Commercial Limited, Motor Truck Distributors Limited, National Distributors of Mack, Renault and Volvo Trucks and Buses, Truck Stops Limited, OBO. Education: Palmerston North is an important base for tertiary institutions. The home campuses of Massey University, Universal College of Learning and International Pacific College are here. A large proportion of Palmerston North's population consists of students attending these institutions or the various Papaioea campuses of Te Wanganui Aotearoa during the student year. Tertiary education institutions: primary and secondary schools. Hospitals: the main hospital in Palmerston North is Palmerston North Hospital. It is the seat of the Mid-Central District Health Board. There were two private hospitals, Aorangi and Southern Cross. In 2012 these two private surgical hospitals merged and are now known as Crest Hospital. Policing: Palmerston North. The Palmerston North Police are responsible for law enforcement in the city area. The main police station is in the Central Business District, a short distance down the road from the plaza. Community police centres exist in Ashurst, Highbury, Linton, Massey University and Rossmont. In the years between 2006 and 2010 the crime rate in Palmerston North was similar to that of New Zealand as a whole. Overall, the number of offences, as recorded by the Palmerston North police stations, has declined. Violent crime has increased by 5% in the past year, but this is compared with an 11% rise nationally. Satisfaction with safety in public places at night has remained at its 2007 level. Central District: the Central District covers the Ruapu district in the north, Tuotaki in the south and includes Taranaki, Wanganui, Manawatu, Horowhenua and Tararua. The Central District's headquarters are in Palmerston North. Justice, Palmerston North Courthouse seats a High District Court and is located at Main Street. Religion, Palmerston North has a number of religious institutions and a high percentage of worship against the national average. The high number of Christian fellowship in Palmerston North has been reflected in the adornment of the Christian cross on the city's clock tower. Palmerston North is a cathedral city. The Cathedral of the Holy Spirit is the seat of the Roman Catholic Diocese of Palmerston North. Palmerston North is in the jurisdiction of the Anglican Diocese of Wellington. There are also many other churches with denominations such as Adventist, Apostolic, Assembly of God, Baptist, Brethren, Christian Scientist, Church of Christ, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Jehovah's Witnesses, Lutheran, Methodist, Pentecostal, Presbyterian and Religious Society of Friends. There is a Sikh temple in Pune. There is an Islamic center in West End and an Islamic prayer center at Massey University. City facilities and attractions, Palmerston North has a number of facilities and attractions. It is also the gateway to attractions in other parts of the region, such as Tongariro National Park, Ruhine and Tararua Ranges. When Palmerston North International Airport serviced international flights, the city was also an international gateway to Hawke's Bay, Wanganui and Taranaki. The Plaza is the largest shopping centre in the Manawatu-Wanganui region and a key shopping centre in the lower North Island, boasting over 100 stores. It was built in about the 1980s and then upgraded again in around the late 2000s to what it is now. In the opening week of the upgraded plaza, people came from all over the North Island to have a look around. Downtown on Broadway combines retail and boutique shopping with a food court and downtown cinema. The Square. Originally part of the Papaioea clearing, the Square is a 7-hectare park of lawn, trees, lakes, fountains, and gardens in the center of the city. It is the city's original park and also the center point from whence the city's main streets are arranged. The square contains the city's war memorial and a memorial dedicated to Tepttoo, the Rangitani chief instrumental in the sale of Palmerston North District to the government in 1865. Near the center of the park is the clock tower with its illuminated cross and colored lights. Also here is the city's eyesight, the civic building, the city library, Square Edge and the commercial heart of Palmerston North CBD. Retail stores and eateries line the road surrounding the park. In around 1878, a Maori contingent, including Te'o, gathered together to choose a Maori name for the square. They chose Te Mareo Hain, meaning the courtyard of the Daughter of Peace. This name reflected their hope all people of all races would live together in enduring peace. Parks. Victoria Esplanade Gardens. Victoria Esplanade Gardens are located along the northern bank of the Manawatu River, west of Fitzherbert Avenue. The Esplanade Gardens include serene native bush surrounding family-friendly facilities, an aviary, a kafar copyright, a duck pond, a miniature railway, the Peter Black Conservatory and walking tracks within the bush. The Dougald Mackenzie Rose Garden is attached to the Esplanade Gardens. 5. The gardens were opened to commemorate the 60th Jubilee of Queen Victoria's reign. Other parks, nearby the Esplanade are the multi-sport playing fields of Ongley and Manawatu Parks, the twin turf hockey fields in Fitzherbert Park, the Premier Cricket Ground. Elsewhere in the city are parks for sports like rugby, such as Coronation Park, Bill Brown Park and Colquhoun Park. And football, Skoglund Park and Kileno Park. Memorial Park has a football pitch, and also has family-friendly facilities. Aquatic centers. The Lido Aquatic Center is Palmerston North's largest. It provides outdoor facilities including a family leisure pool, a 50m pool for competitive swimming and a dive pool. Indoor facilities include another family leisure pool, spa pool, heated pool and a cafe. Freiburg Community Pool is an all-year indoor swimming pool complex located next to Freiburg High School in Roslyn. Libraries. Palmerston North has a main public library with 4 branches and 1 mobile library. The Central Palmerston North Library is located in the square and houses the main collections. The other 4 are located in Ashurst, Arapuni, Roslyn and Te Patakatiki. Youth Space, near the square is the Youth Space, opened in September 2011 as a dedicated place for Palmerston North's many young people to congregate in a safe environment. Wind farms, the Tarawa and Ruhine ranges are noted for being windy, and an ideal location for harnessing the power of the wind. The Tarawa and Te Apiti wind farms realize this. The Tarawa wind farm consists of 154 windmills with blade lengths of 23.5 and 45 meters. Part of this wind farm is in the area of Palmerston North City Council boundary. Te Apiti wind farm on the brow of a hill in the Ruhine range chain next the Manawatu River, has 55 windmills with blade lengths of 35 meters. Trustpower owns the Tarawa while Meridian Energy owns Te Apiti. Although Te Apiti is under the jurisdiction of Manawatu District, the proximity to Ashurst make them an attraction for Palmerston North. Culture. Creative Giants is a website that was launched in 2011 to celebrate the creative talent of Palmerston North. It is updated regularly. Arts. Te Manawa is the cultural museum of art, science and history. Attached to Te Manawa is the New Zealand Rugby Museum. There are many small independent galleries. Many of New Zealand's best-known artists came from or live in Palmerston North. The list includes Rita Angus, John Bevan Ford, Shane Cotton, Paul Dibble, Pat Hanley, Brent Harris, Bob Junk, John Panting, Carl Sido and Tim Wilson. Performing Arts. Regent on Broadway Theatre is a 1393-seat multi-purpose performing arts facility. Centrepoint Theatre is a prominent professional theatre and the only one outside the main centres of New Zealand. Globe Theatre is a small community theatre of about 100 seats, built in about 1984. It is currently undergoing redevelopment, with the addition of another 100-seat auditorium. Top comics including John Clark, John Bridges, Jeremy Corbett, Tom Scott all come from Palmerston North, as do stage, television and film performers Paul Barrett, Shane Cortese, Kate Louise Elliott, Simon Ferry, Greg Johnson, Jeff Kingsford Brown and Alison Quiggin. Cuisine. Palmerston North is reputed to have the highest number of restaurants, eateries and café bars per capita in New Zealand. 6. There is a vast selection of ethnic food options including Thai, French, Chinese, Indian, Korean, Japanese, Cambodian, Mongolian, Italian, Irish, American, Pacific Rim and New Zealand cuisines. Music. Palmerston North has a thriving musical scene with many national and international acts touring through the town, and many local acts performing regularly. Local groups include the Manawatu Sinfonia and Manawatu Youth Orchestra who perform throughout the year. The Manawatu Youth Orchestra celebrated its 50th year in September 2011. Both these groups rehearse at Square Edge. John Schwab founded both these groups and conducted them until he retired at the end of 2011. The Manawatu Sinfonia no longer has a permanent conductor but relies on its music direction subcommittee to appoint conductors for each schedule. The Manawatu Youth Orchestra is now under Isaac Henderson, who also takes the Saturday Music Orchestra for beginner musicians. Within the community there is also the Manawatu Concert Band which holds its practices at Freyberg High School. Events. February, Esplanade Day, February-March, Summer Shakespeare, March, Festival of Cultures, March, Women's Lifestyle Expo, June, Manawatu Wedding Expo, September, International Spring Festival, September, Swampist, November, Tour de Manawatu Charity Cycle Challenge, Sport. Participation in sport is an important and popular pastime in Palmerston North. Representation at a national level is predominantly provincial-based, meaning most sports teams representing Palmerston North also draw their players from other towns from around Manawatu. The premier multi-sports venue in Palmerston North is Arena Manawatu. The main stadium of Arena Manawatu is called Arena 1 and is the home of rugby and the Robertson Holden International Speedway. There are indoor venues at Arena Manawatu where netball, basketball and volleyball are played. Other important venues include Memorial Park, Fitzherbert Park, Kileno Park, Manawatu Park, Skaglun Park, Fortier Park and Massey University Sports Fields. Are not based in Manawatu, however home ground when playing in Manawatu. Transport: Palmerston North is a significant road and rail junction. As such, it is an important distribution hub for the Central and Lower North Island, with many freight distribution centres based here. Road: State Highway is the main state highway in Palmerston North. State Highway, New Zealand's main highway, passes about 25 km to the west of the city. The city's main roads are arranged in a grid pattern. The streets of significance are: these four streets meet at the square. The City Ring Road: heavy vehicles are prohibited in the square and a City Ring Road exists for such traffic. Fitzherbert East Road is an alternative road to the Manawatu Gorge from the southern side of the Manawatu River. Tennant Drive is the continuation of State Highway from Levin. Enters from the southwest. Milson Line, Railway Road, Roberts Line and Stony Creek Road are alternative entries in the north from Fielding and rural northern Manawatu. Pioneer Highway is the main western portal for traffic from State Highway 1, Foxton, Levin and Shannon. Cambridge Avenue is the main street of Ashurst. Cycling: Palmerston North is perceived as being better for cycling than most New Zealand cities, with 2001 figures putting it a close second only to Blenheim in terms of bicycle modal share. The Manawatu River pathway is great for family or beginners riders, as it is all flat to mildly contoured, with some limestone sections, as well as wide cement paths. The track has many access points to this trail, which runs for over 9 km between Maxwell's Line in the west to Riverside Drive in the east. A new 3 km section has been added between Ashurst and Raikawa Road, with plans to link this to the existing path over the next 2 years, making over 22 km of scenic tracks to explore alongside the river. Palmerston North has a fairly comprehensive 65 km on-road bicycle lane network, particularly in high-traffic areas, to make it safer for people to get around the city by bike. Criticism: the cycle lane network has been criticized for a number of reasons. Motor traffic is often too fast, and there is no physical barrier between bicyclists and motorists. Most bicycle lanes in the city are marked out with parking spaces for motorist parking, making those lanes pointless and raising the risk of motorists opening car doors into the path of passing bicyclists. Rebecca Oaten, the so-called helmet lady who campaigned nationwide in the late 1980s for a New Zealand bicycle helmet law, is from Palmerston North. Bus services are coordinated by Horizons Regional Council, through Masterton-based bus company, Transit. 5 urban buses leave the terminal in Main Street East at least every half hour. The buses are assigned to loop routes servicing different parts of the city. Buses are provided for students of Massey and IPC. Daily services run to the nearby towns of Linton, Ashurst and Fielding. Inter-regional routes are operated by Intercity, Transit and Nakedbus. Intercity's routes run south, north and east from a temporary terminal in the square, Palmerston North. Naked Bus runs from outside the Palmerston North City Eye site in the square. Palmerston North Airport is in the suburb of Milson. It is approximately 5.5 km from the CBD. It is a regional gateway to places such as Tongariro National Park. Favorable weather conditions mean Palmerston North International Airport is open 99.97% of the year. 7. International services began in 1996, with Freedom Air's flights to and from Sydney and Brisbane. However, since March 2008, there have been no international services since Freedom Air ceased to operate. The proposed replacement carrier Ozjet cancelled its plans only days before they were due to commence. Domestic services include flights to and from Auckland, Christchurch, Hamilton, Nelson and Wellington, operated by Mount Cook Airlines, Eagle Airways and Air Nelson, under code-share agreements with Air New Zealand, Virgin Australia and Singapore Airlines. The airport is the operational base of the Massey University School of Aviation. The airport is a busy freight hub at night. Palmerston North Airport was upgraded and improved in 2011. Rail. Palmerston North is an important passenger and freight stop on the North Island Main Trunk Railway. There are only 2 passenger trains run by Kiwi Rail, the weekday-only Capital Connection commuter train once a day to and from Wellington, and is a stop for the Northern Explorer to and from Auckland and Wellington. Until 1964, the railway ran through the city centre, with Palmerston North Railway Station in the square. The station was moved and the track diverted 2.5 km to the north by the Milson deviation in 1959 to 1963. Work on the deviation had started in 1926. Near the current railway station, the North Island Main Trunk Railway is joined by the Palmerston North, Gisborne Line, which runs through the Manawatu Gorge to Woodville and Hawke's Bay. A connection to the Wairarapa Line is at Woodville. Media: the major daily newspaper is the Manawatu Standard. Weekly community newspapers include the Tribune and the Guardian. Most radio stations are based outside the city, however some on the nationwide networks have studios in Palmerston North. History: Ngati Rangaitani were the local Māori iwi living in the area known as Te Aotearoa, when a trader, Jack Duff, became the earliest known European to explore the area c. 1830. He came on a whaling ship, and explored possibly as far inland as the site of Woodville. He reported his discovery on arrival back to Papaioea. Colonel Wakefield heard of the potential that the Manawatu had for development and visited in 1840. In 1846 Stephen Charles Hartley, another trader, heard from Tangata Hanua of a clearing in the Papaioea forest and he proceeded through the dense bush and forest and discovered it for Europeans. In 1858, the government began negotiations with local iwi to purchase land in Manawatu. There is dispute at the time between rival iwi Ngati Rangaitani and Ngati Raikawa as to who has the right to sell. The dispute is resolved in favor of Rangaitani. On a visit in 1859, John Tiffin Stewart, an employee of the Wellington Provincial Council, was shown the Papaioea clearing by Rangaitani chief, Te Harawanu, and noted its suitability for a good site for a township. In 1864, Te Aotearoa block was sold by Rangaitani to the government for £12,000, in an effort to open the Manawatu to settlement. Stewart returned in 1866 on behalf of the Wellington Provincial Council and made the original survey and subdivision in the Papaioea forest clearing. The settlement, named Palmerston to commemorate the recently deceased Prime Minister of Great Britain, was laid out according to Stewart's plan consisting of a series of wide and straight streets in a rectangular pattern. The focal point was an open space of 17 acres subsequently known as the Square. On October 3, 1866, Palmerston was formally endorsed after Isaac L. Featherston signed a proclamation defining the boundaries of the settlement. The first sections were sold after. Among the first settlers included Scandinavians, who arrived in 1871. They established settlements at Arapuni and Hakarungo Stony Creek. Later the same year, the suffix North was added to distinguish the settlement of the same name in the South Island. In 1872 a petition was launched to change the name of the settlement. A public meeting in 1873 ends with no clear decision on the name. The railway line was laid through the square in 1875. In 1876, Palmerston North became a local board district, within the Wellington Provincial Council. This existed until the abolition of the provinces later the same year. Also in the same year, the council set aside land north of the Manawatu River for the purposes of a reserve. In 1890, this land was again set aside and would become in 1897, the Victoria Esplanade. By 1877, when the borough council came into existence, Palmerston North was an isolated village in the midst of the native forest that covered inland Manawatu. By 1878, the population was approximately 800 people and sawmilling was the main industry of the district. As the settlement grew, the forest diminished to make way for farms and housing, and today virtually no remnant of it survives. The arrival of the railway in 1886 saw an increase in the speed of growth and the town was at the centre of a lucrative agricultural district. The opening of the nearby Longburn freezing works provided employment, while the borough council instigated more infrastructural schemes such as the sewerage system. The railway through the Manawatu Gorge to Napier was completed in 1891. In 1893, Ranjitani sold the Hokkaido block, increasing the area of land available for settlement. In the same year, the public hospital opened in a wooden building on Terrace Street. The hospital required significant fundraising. At the end of the decade, the Boer War broke out in South Africa and men from Palmerston North volunteered. By 1900 the population was 6,000. In 1902, the Manawatu River flooded. In the 1910s Palmerston North's growth was steady. The population in 1911 about 10,991. The city was affected by World War I, with Arapuni Racecourse being used as an army training camp in 1914. During the course of the war, the borough council renamed all German-sounding and foreign street names. When the war finished in 1918, celebrations were delayed due to the influenza epidemic. In 1930, the population reached the 20,000 threshold and Palmerston North was officially proclaimed a city, the seventh in New Zealand. Development was slow due to the Great Depression and World War II. An airport was established at Milson in 1936, which is now Palmerston North International Airport. From 1938, the first Labour government initiated state housing programs in West End and Roslyn. In 1940 the Māori Battalion was formed in Palmerston North and trained at the showgrounds. In 1941, the Manawatu River flooded again. Large parts of Hokkaido and Arapuni were underwater, with residents evacuating to higher ground. In 1942, Wellington Army Camp was established. After the war, growth was rapid. In 1950, the city was enlarged to include Milson and Kelvin Grove. In 1953, the boundaries would extend to include Arapuni, which again, in the same year, was flooded by the Manawatu River, along with Hokkaido. The largest flood since 1902. Although work had started in 1926, it was not until 1959 the Milson deviation of the North Island main trunk was opened, meaning future trains will pass to the north of the city, instead of through the square. Later in 1963, the railway station at Tremaine Avenue opens. The last trains passed through the square in 1964. In 1961, the Highbury was added to the council area. In 1963, Massey University College of Manawatu was formed by the amalgamation of the Massey Agricultural College with the Palmerston North University College. In 1964, it becomes Massey University of Manawatu, an autonomous tertiary learning institution with the power to grant its own degrees. In 1967, city boundaries were again extended to include land in Anakata, Kelvin Grove, Milson, Amberley and Arapuni as part of future growth for the next 25 years. In 1970, the Rugby Museum was established and a tribute to the founding father of rugby in New Zealand, Charles Munro, was opened at Massey University. In 1971, a competition to design a civic building for the vacant railway land at the square, is won by Wellington architects, Morris and John Patience. The resulting building was finished in 1979. In 1976, the Manawatu and Aroa Rivers flood, 24-hour rainfall records in Fielding and Palmerston North are exceeded and some residents from both locations are evacuated. In 1977, Palmerston North City Council celebrated its centenary of municipal government. The Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh are among visitors to Palmerston North. On November 1, 1989, New Zealand local government authorities were reorganised. Palmerston North city boundaries were extended to include Ashurst, Linton and Chiritia through amalgamation of parts of the former Kairanga County, Aroa County and Ashurst Town Council. On July 1, 2012, Bunnythorpe, Longburn, part of the area around Kairanga and an area around Ashurst were joined to Palmerston North City Council area. Governance, Palmerston North City Council. Palmerston North is governed by a city council which consists of a mayor and 15 councillors. Previously for representation purposes, the city was divided into 5 wards. In April 2013, The Local Government Commission abolished the wards and therefore the city will elect its council on a citywide basis. Elections for mayor and local government occur nationwide every 3 years, with the next election to take place in 2016. The 2013 election saw the single transferable voting system introduced, replacing plurality voting. Current City Council elected in 2013, the council's functions are broken down into 7 units: City Future, City Contact, City Corporate, City Enterprises, Community and Commercial Services, City Library, City Networks. The Chief Executive is Paddy Clifford. Horizons Regional Council, Palmerston North is the seat of the council. For electoral and regional representation purposes, Palmerston North City makes up the Palmerston North constituency and is represented by 4 councillors. Palmerston North constituency councillors is at 2012, Jill White, Vern Chettelberg, Paul Rieger, Murray Guy. Central governance, Palmerston North has 3 electorate MPs in Parliament. Palmerston North, the boundaries of the electorate of Palmerston North have changed often since the introduction of MMP. It has been previously larger than now and formerly extended over the Manawatu River into the southern suburbs. A 2007 redraw transferred the southern suburbs to Rangitukia, in return for Kelvin Grove and Milson, making Palmerston North a completely urban electorate. Currently Palmerston North is surrounded by the Rangitukia electorate. Since 2008, the Palmerston North electorate has been held by Ian Lees-Galloway of Labour. Rangitukia, the large electorate of Rangitukia extends south to Palmerston North southern and eastern ward, therefore completely surrounding the electorate of Palmerston North. The electorate was formerly represented by Simon Power and has been represented by former Manawatu District Mayor Ian McElvey since the New Zealand general election at the end of that year. Māori electorate, Te Taihoa. This large electorate includes all of the Palmerston North area. The electorate is currently held by Tariana Turia of the Māori Party. Sister cities, Palmerston North has 2 sister cities, Missoula, Montana, United States, Gideon, People's Republic of China. Notable personalities. Trivia: an NAC Vickers Viscount was named City of Palmerston North. This aircraft was withdrawn from NAC service in 1975. References. External links, official websites, official website of Palmerston North City and Manawatu, Palmerston North City Council, street maps and property information, unofficial portals, the Square Palmerston North portal, Palmerston North City portal.